Okay, so let's look at the packaging. So as you can see, the oEdRo 7-inch LED headlight. This particular model, if you look at the box here, and you'll also see the headlight itself in just a moment. We've got this particular style right here. It did not, this particular package did not come with the 4-inch fog lamps. So we've only got this particular headlight here. You'll notice the halo ring, and it certainly has the high beam and low beam functions. Let's look inside the package. It came fairly well packaged, so you'll see this sheet of foam over the top, and you'll notice there is one missing because I've already installed it. That's what we're going to be demoing today. But you'll notice the lamp itself. It comes nicely snug in this foam packaging, which is pretty nice. Really, it's fairly secure. It hasn't been kicked around or anything. You'll notice over the headlamp itself, it's got a protective film so that it keeps that polycarbonate face from being scratched either during handling or shipping. As far as everything else that it comes with, you'll notice that it does come with a couple of pigtails, and you'll see what those are for here in just a moment. But basically those are for wiring for both the daytime running light as well as the amber turn signal that's actually worked into the halo ring. For the newer model vehicles, it comes with a couple of harnesses. So that's to make the connection or the conversion from the H4 to the H13 style, as well as the CAN bus for the anti-flicker issue, setup for these newer model vehicles. Looking at the headlamp itself, again, pretty nicely snug in here. Okay, but again, it's pretty similar to other LED headlamps that I've been reviewing or at least looking at online. They look pretty similar. Okay, and then of course how it's terminated on the end is with this 3-prong plug that plugs right into your H4 connector if that's what you're converting or if that's what you're using. And of course these are the 2 pigtails. The amber, the yellow, is for the amber turn signal. The white is for the daytime running light. And again, these little pigtails would plug right into them and then wire into the respective source. Okay, so let's talk about installation. So right now this wiring looks a bit like a mess, only because everything's sort of pulled apart, just so you can see where these connections have come from. Again, this is my 1985 Jeep CJ7. Okay, the harness that is going to these headlights is the factory harness. No changes. So you can see basically what you have here is, right now it's physically plugged in, but you can see this main harness that comes down and over to up here is what the headlight itself plugs into, and you'll notice that I've got the 2 pigtails plugged in. Okay, so here's what I've done. This is the harness. If you look super close, this is the harness that goes to the back side of this front turn signal. What I've done for the daytime running light, so I didn't want a daytime running light that was on all of the time. So what I did is I spliced into this particular white wire on a CJ. Okay, this applies to probably both the CJ 5, 7, 8, and perhaps maybe even the 6 as well. You'll just have to confirm your power source because sometimes AMC was funny about changing wire colors. But what I did is I took a section of that white wire out and I put a butt connector in there and I connected it at both ends and then created this little pigtail that connects onto the leading end. And what that allowed me to do is have a source for power for the daytime running light. And what will happen for me is that when I turn on these parking lamps, the daytime running light will come on. Otherwise it will always be off. In order to have the daytime running light on all the time, what you'll simply do is just, in lieu of doing what I did here, you'll simply run this particular wire from the main harness, from the plug, to a switched hot source. So when you turn your key, it'll provide power to that, and then the daytime running lamp will come on. For the turn signal, what I did is I used my side marker, or what was my side marker, and you can notice there was the bulb for the side marker. This is the harness coming in for the side marker, and I did essentially the same thing. It looks basically just like that inside the wire loom right now. I cut about a 1-inch section out of it. I replaced it with a butt connector, and then I ran this pigtail so that I've got a hot, so that when I turn my turn signal on, it will put power to the plug, okay, or this little connector, and then my halo will turn from white to amber. We'll demonstrate that here in just a moment. Okay, one thing that's unique for the older model Jeeps, particularly for the CJs, okay, you'll notice the headlight assembly is 3 pieces. You'll notice you've got an inner bucket, okay, this is what physically mounts to here, okay, you've got a kind of, we'll call it an intermediate bucket, if you will, okay, that is essentially what allows the headlamp to sit inside, and you'll notice the adjustment screws, okay, and then you've got what's basically what looks like it's a retainer ring. This is what physically holds the headlamp to this intermediate bucket, okay. All of this will physically sit, upside down, sorry, it will physically sit inside of here, okay, and it fits perfect. Now here's the one contingency for the CJs, and I'll attach some pictures to my review as well. This bucket needs to be cut open, and just for reference, here is the piece that I cut out of that bucket before I painted it. You'll notice that I marked it and then cut a little bit beyond it because the mark was a little too small, okay. This has to be done in order for that headlamp to physically fit inside that intermediate bucket, okay. And once you've done that, that's probably the most complicated thing out of this entire process. Otherwise it is super easy, and that's it, okay. So wires, right, again, yellow for turn signal, white for daytime running light, and then simply for the earlier CJs, you need not do anything else but other than plug the pigtail that comes off the headlamp into your vehicle harness, and that is it. It is so easy. Okay, so let's talk about function, okay? So what you see is I've temporarily mounted the headlamp into the assembly, into the grill. All right, and here in just a moment, I'm going to step away, and then I'm going to key this thing on, and you're going to see how it works. Low beam, high beam, daytime running light, and how I wired it in. So these will come on with the daytime running light, and then obviously the turn signal. So let's do that. So you'll notice all I did is turn the parking lamp on. You'll notice the daytime running light came on, and my amber parking lamp came on. There's my low beam. There's my high beam. And we turn that off, and turn signal. You'll notice that it goes from white to amber as it turns. Super cool. Very slick, which is great in my case, because my winch sort of kind of hides that amber parking lamp down low. You'll notice that because my side marker is gone, I don't really have an indicator or front indicator right now. I do. Now I haven't tested the projection on these things yet, but I suspect they're going to be fairly impressive. You'll notice just from the daytime, it's kind of hard to tell, but look how much brighter the LED is compared to the original halogen bulb. I mean, these things are probably going to blow these old halogen bulbs away. So I'm fairly well looking forward to this. Again, one of the best things about these, A, they're pretty affordable, B, they're DOT approved. So no troubles. And they look pretty good. It's nice to integrate a little bit of new technology into some old machine. And that should do it. Feel free to hit me up on Amazon with any questions, and I'll certainly try to keep up with any questions you might have. Thanks again.